Stand. Boom. Good evening. Now, gentle men and wild women of the audience, I would like to invite you in a quick activity before we begin. This is to open up space. And this concept of opening space is something that I found to be pivotal in my life's work. It's the idea that as we move through our lives, there are certain moments that when we give our time and attention to, we can fully pour our hearts into them and come away with greater understanding. So I'll explain first, and then we'll do it together. You start with your hands on your legs, palms down. Or just do it now. Start with your hands on your legs, palms down. You say a few words. When I give the signal, you're going to bring your palms to the sky. And when I say that's us, you're going to clap. Hands down, palms to the sky, that's us, clap. Very simple. So sit up nice and straight in your chairs. Find a comfortable position. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, slowly close your eyes. As you come into a more full breath, notice the rising and falling in your chest. Notice if there's any tension in your shoulders, and relax. Any sort of stress in your jaw and your facial muscles, let it go. Feel the seat beneath your body, and just breathe. And as you come into this place of relaxation, a place where you're ready to engage with this moment, turn your palms to the sky as a gesture of your openness to receiving. Slowly open your eyes. That's us. For the last 5 years, I've been guiding youth on experiential education trips around the world in wilderness settings. Now, what exactly does that mean? It means that I commonly find myself on blaring airport terminals or trailheads staring at the surging hormonal aura that comes from teenagers who are all meeting each other for the first time. Some are excited, some terrified, but most look at me with eyes and say, is this hippie with a nose ring really the guy in charge? I used to hate these awkward moments, but now I bask with them. I look into the eyes of my students, and I see a yearning for adventure and a fear of the unknown. I see rawness and unimaginable potential and possibility that lingers in them and on their journey ahead. From this moment, the trip quickly takes off, and it's not long until I have a 50-pound new best friend strapped to their back or winding through the narrow streets of some foreign land. Now, why do I do this work? A quick story first. I was walking down the trail with my students one day, and as it tends to do from time to time, it began to rain. As the pitter-patter of drops grew stronger, I heard an urgent yell from the back of the group. Hey! Hey! I turned around and rushed back, mind already going in guide mode of what first aid scenario would be at hand or de-escalation necessary. And when I arrived at this young man, half soaked, he looked up at me and he asked me one of the most memorable questions of my life. Hey Pete, is it raining right now? I couldn't even speak. Is he really asking me this like that? Pretty soon the silence made the student aware of the ridiculousness of this question. He tried to salvage it by saying, oh yeah, for sure, but like, should I put my rain jacket on right now or something? I took a deep breath and I gave him the answer that satisfies about 95% of all students' questions. Use your judgment. The other 5% is drink more water. For this work is about empowering and connecting humans to all aspects of their lives, gone or thought lost forever. It shows them good reason to trust themselves and to never assume that the person in front knows more than they do. that clean water out of the tap is a miracle, and that hunger is always the best price. To have compassion, for as Miller Williams wrote, you do not know what wars are going on down there where the spirit meets the bone. That this simple act of filling up someone's water bottle for them can be the kindest gift ever given. And let us not forget the lost art of simply playing, of tapping into your inner child, that no matter what anybody tells you, it's okay to make face paint from ash and soot, to get in mud fights, to perfect your cannonball, and most of all, it is not a waste of time to spend hours on trail discussing your weapon of choice for a zombie apocalypse. Even though the obvious answer is the samurai sword. This is when all the zombie nerds in the crowd are like, good, you guys know what you're talking about. I do this work because I believe we can only truly speak and act from our own experience, and I want to saturate youth with as much of it as I can. As a guide, I've recognized two forces on trips that hold most potency for student experience. Two forces that are not just found on some structured adventure, but are ever present in our lives. The first lies in community, a subject that is no stranger to you all. What a healthy, vibrant community looks like is up for its participants and their values to decide. I am not here to tell you how to do this. I'm only here to offer my observation. And when I stare into the eyes of my students, I see a starvation for deeper connection. A longing for a space to truly be heard. To have peers and mentors and elders in their lives that will hold them to their highest potential for nothing more than they are worth it. To have boundaries held, not to smother creativity or expression, but to truly allow them to rage against, to question, and to wander and know that they will be safe. To find refuge in fire, where they can sit with story or find peace in the silence. For a tribe that will empower them to walk through this world with integrity from their authentic self. Now, this idea of community is not just some hippie dream. It's a very real fight that's going on all over the world and on these hallways by people who believe that our greatest asset of human beings is not our opposable thumbs, but our ability to empathize and work with one another. By those who feel the need to start holding ourselves to a higher standard, to not run away from confrontation and retreat to our electronics when we're challenged by others, but to see it as an opportunity to step into the true measure of relationship, which is not how well we can avoid conflict, but how well we can move through it with grace and understanding. This hunger for community, the many honeymoons and storms that come with it, and the witnessing of youth sharing their souls with one another, and owning the space and the soil from which they do it, that is worth sweat and blood and tears, and that is why I do this work. The second force that is so powerful on these trips and ever present in our lives is that of the natural world. It's a power that I don't really think needs explaining, for we all feel pulled by its presence. When listened to, it keeps us in rhythm. And when ignored, we feel the great itch of our unbalanced life. John Muir told us that everybody needs beauty as well as bread. Places to play in and pray in, where nature can heal and cheer and give strength through our body and soul alike. As I tell my students, wilderness does all the work. I just try and keep people safe and have a good time. And yet, wilderness is not the sole home for natural beauty. The wisdom of the natural world lies all around us. For even in the greatest of cities can you still hear the birds sing in the approaching dawn. I'm not here to try and sell you on some backpacking trip. I'm here to share with you the only thing that I truly own, which is my experience. That the teachings and opportunities of these trips, of nature and of community, are all around us. How we honor and act from them are in the choices that we make day to day. How we choose to treat the people who walk these hallways and this earth by our side. How we choose to treat ourselves. Or maybe for just a moment, when you walk outside this building tonight, stopping and feeling the crisp of the night and the moon above you. I would love to share a poem with you by Wendell Berry to close this space. For just as we open the ground to lay the seeds, so must the soil return to nourish that which is below. This poem is dear to my heart and one of the reasons I stand on this carpet today. I invite you to once again open your palms, find a comfortable seat. Take a deep breath and close your eyes. The peace of wild things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Gently bring your palms together in front of your chest. Open your eyes. To the greatest teachers of them all, the students, much love and thank you for this moment.